Guys, I don't know what's going on. I truly don't know what's going on. Another plane crash. Like, this is just ridiculous. It was like in New York, right? Let me test something. Let me make sure that we're good here. In New York, a plane crashed just a few days ago. And now a plane crash in Boca Raton. You know, so I kind of got on this late, right? I was at home when I saw the notification came up on X, and I said, "Hey, I got to go and stream this." I was actually planning to stream something else around this time, and I saw this, and I just had to go on and stream this because it's quite alarming. Let me pull something up. I'm gonna see how many plane crashes and lives have been lost since 2005, since the beginning of 2005. Let me just make sure I have something. Make sure you guys are seeing the thumbnail. So let me make sure that the thumbnail is actually there. This is just crazy what's going on, you know. So let me make sure the thumbnail is. Let me grab the thumbnail and add. Where's the thumbnail? This. So right here. No, it's not allowing me to grab the thumbnail. Let me go back here. Cancel this. And all right, I can add the thumbnail later. But let me bring in some audio. Right? Bring some audio in. I'm gonna turn this audio down a little bit. Turn the audio down a little bit. So as you guys can see, that they're there, I guess forensics, they're taking pictures. Apparently, according to what was already said, is that a Cessna plane, one of those small twin engine planes that you've probably seen at places like Perry Airport or the airport in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, all over the place. Many people have these small airplanes, and they would fly them. But just earlier on, somewhere around 12 noon or so, a plane went down. But not too long ago, in New York, a plane went down in the bay, right? And killing everybody on board. It appeared that it landed upside down, right? So many of you have probably already seen footage of the helicopter that crashed. But it's just been ridiculous. Planes have been crashing all over the world. All right, let me see if I can. So here it is. According to the news, go more. According to the news, there have been in the U.S. alone, there have been 24 deadly aviation crashes in 2025. That's just from the beginning of this year, resulting in at least 111 deaths. The National Transportation Safety Board, the National Transport Board, NTSB, reported 87 aviation accidents in 2005, with 14 of those being fatal, right? Which account to the 111 people, right? So This is just horrific what's been going on, right? And sad to say, but I almost expect that there's going to be more crashes happening. I don't know why, but for some reason this just has become so prevalent in the last several months. All right, let me see if I can find any additional footage of what's happening. Um, Boca Raton crash. Boca Raton plane crash. Let me see if I can find any other angle of the actual. Wait a second here. Hold on. Wait a second here. Let me see. Oh, let me see what happened over here. Oh, those are no. All right, guys. I'm just looking. I hope they didn't die. I've seen something here where plane crash in Boca Raton, 3 report. Whoa. Whoa. So it appeared that all three people on the plane passed away. Let me open this. Why won't it open? All right, load in. Okay, so wow. So I'm seeing here. All right, let me bring this over to you guys. Let me bring this in. Okay, let me expand this some. All right. So Boca Raton news now. Plane crash in Boca Raton. 3 reported dead. Okay, so update radar. No. Plane crash in Boca Raton. All right, so let me see if I can expand this. A little more, maybe you guys can see it. All right, so, all right, I'll read it. This is an update as of 4 minutes after 2, right? Update since this was written since 1:46 p.m. Tri-rail service remains suspended between Deerfield Beach and north of Boca Raton. Tri-rail is using bus services to transport passengers in this area. The plane crashed into the area of the train tracks. We have learned that 2 bodies were found on the train tracks. Road closures as of 1:46 p.m. include Military Trail for Butt Road and Northwest 19th Streets. I-95 ramp to westbound Glades Road. 2 lanes of I-95 southbound near Glades Road from Renaissance Way to Airport Road east and westbound. Victims update. That was at 1:30. Victims update. 3 dead, 1 injured. The injured person was on the ground at the time, of the crash. 1:10 update. Boca Raton police report that military trail between Northwest 19th Street and Budd Road remains closed. The I-95 overpass at Glades Roads remain closed in both directions. Let me read this part. I'll highlight this part kind of longer. So, radar trackers obtained by BocaNewsNow.com show that the plane was circling for several minutes before crashing nearby Boca Airport. Watch the radar loop, courtesy of flightradar24.com. Below, I guess I would have to scroll down. It appears to have never ascended to more than 600 feet. The plane is a Cessna registered to Delaware LLC, a Delaware LLC. It is identified as a 1977 Cessna 310R. Okay. All right. So then we have right here another update. Sorry guys, I didn't highlight the first three that I read. We have learned that this was a Cessna heading to Tallahassee Airport. 3 people were on board. All were killed. All right. 1 second. All right, so let me continue. Let me continue. All right, so let me continue. Let me continue now. All right, so, all right, so the update here, I just had to do something real quickly, guys. All right, photos and videos shared with Boca Raton News show a scene full of fire and smoke near the Glades Roads overpass over Military Trail. The scene, specifically in the area of the train tracks in calmer now, but it's calmer now, but the road remains closed in the area. They will likely remain closed throughout the afternoon. We are awaiting an official statement from Boca Raton PD and Boca Raton Fire Rescue. The National Transportation Safety Board will investigate this crash. We have learned 3 people were killed. 2 bodies were found on the train tracks in the area. The pilot reported a mechanical problem just before the crash. Fire rescue was responding to the area of the airport when the plane went down. And this is the, all right, let me play this video. It appears, all right, give me a second. Let me minimize this and mute the audio here and see if I can play this. Maybe there's some audio here, I'm not sure. Okay, it looks like, let me expand this. All right. Later, let me move that. So this looks like the trajectory of how and what happened with the plane as it was moving, as you can see where it's circling. So they're showing the path of how the plane circled. So you can see moments before it actually landed. Right? What's this? So, all right. So as you guys can see how it's actually moving around, and they're showing the flight path. Imagine the suspense of being in the air, knowing that something is going to happen. You almost know that your life is going to end at this moment and you can't do anything about it. as you're circling, trying to land. Imagine that. And there it goes, as you can see. Wow. Wow. All right, so let me minimize this. And you can, as you guys can see, in the black line, and appears to where the plane actually crashed in the red dot. The red that red dot where it shows like that area, you can see the mouse going around it. So it appears that that's how it happened. All right, so let me minimize this, and let me bring that back up, and let me go back to the. All right, so I want to bring that back up where it was not showing. All right, so let me see if I find anything else. So any other news, any other footage about it? Plane crash. All right, so let me see if I find anything else. Boca Raton. On plane crash. See if I find anything else. No, I'm looking for something else, guys. I'm looking to see if I see any additional footage I could share with you guys. All right, so it looks like I can find something else. Let me bring this over. Let me bring this in. Let me bring this in. Move this out and expand this.
Can you tell us? Continue to follow breaking news in Boca Raton. 3 people are dead after a plane crash near Boca's airport. 1 person on the ground was hurt. This all happening on North Military Trail. Good afternoon. I'm Jay Jarvis. Our Rachel Perry is at the scene right now with the latest details. Rachel, what can you tell us?
Well, Jade, we just heard from the assistant fire chief for the Boca Raton Fire Rescue, who confirmed, like you said, 3 people died in that plane. And
well, guys, this is from earlier, right? This is from earlier, so I'm just trying to give you guys some context here, so you can see exactly what, where, and how this is taking place. So let me continue the audio so you guys can hear.
And 1 person was injured on the ground here in their car. I'll take a step out of your way. We can still see this is still a very active scene. Now, officials say the call came in at 10:12 this morning for a plane in trouble. That plane was leaving Boca Raton Airport. The assistant fire chief saying the plane was having some sort of mechanical issues. The plane went down here on North Military Trail, killing 3 people on board. 1 person has non-life-threatening injuries after officials say they drove through a fireball and crashed into a tree. Again, we know 3 people died and 1 person is injured. This is still an extremely active investigation, so we'll keep you updated as we learn more. For now, live in Boca Raton, Rachel Perry, WPBF 25 News.
Well, while we've gotten here, we have heard multiple witnesses talk to us since this crash happened, and we have all heard the same exact thing, that they all saw that this plane was flying very low. This is a very heavily office area, and some people in office buildings that were a little bit higher up say they were flying almost eye level with the cockpit. That's how low this plane was flying. They didn't know exactly what was going on. They didn't know that the plane was in danger, and then a few moments later, that's when they heard a loud explosion, and multiple people we talked to walked outside and they saw a large fireball. They saw all the debris on the ground here on Military Trail, and all of them felt this, some from at least a block away. They felt a huge vibration here, and there's just a lot of people here in shock as well. We actually talked to one man who tells us that he saw this plane fly around, and then he heard that explosion. Here's what he had to say.
I don't think anybody, ever thinks that they're going to see something like this in life. And if I wouldn't have saw that, I probably wouldn't drive over here. I don't think that it's, and prayers to anyone, the families, anyone that was affected by it. But I was just, from seeing that, I was curious, like what had happened. When I was coming over here, I was curious to find out, like, if it was like mechanical failure. I didn't see any smoke from the plane or anything.
Still a lot of confusion out here for a lot of the witnesses. We saw many people walking outside of their office buildings. It seems like some of them have finally moved back inside, but there's still a lot of road closures around this area for people who need to get to work. We know Military Trail is closed. So up near Butts Road, that's closed as well, and just traffic is being directed all over this area. So there's still a bit of confusion, but a lot of shock for the witnesses here in this area. For now, we're live in Boca Raton. Caleb Califano, WPBF 25 News.
All right, Caleb and Rachel, we appreciate you bringing us the latest.
All right, guys. I'm gonna end it here. So, wow. Thank you, guys. This is just horrific. Let me put this here. Move this over here, and just bring this. You guys can kind of like see an image of it. Close this out, and just so this is what the crash looks like. Okay, so you guys can get a look at it, so you guys can see what the crash looked like. All right, so this is what the crash looks like, guys. All right. Wow. Ooh. Sad for those folks. This is the image that I was able to pull up to kind of give you guys a view of what it looks like. So sorry that this happened to these folks, man. Not good. All right, guys. I'm gonna end it here. Go back and do the stream I was gonna do earlier. All right. So I'll end it here, and thanks for watching.